into interest with yoga through a particular style. There's so many different styles of yoga, which is one of the things I definitely want to make clear early in this conversation. So many different styles. I really don't even have a number to tell you. If I wanted to say off the top of my head safely that I know, it's 10 plus styles of yoga, you know, and that's probably not even close to the total number, maybe 30 plus. I'm not really sure styles of yoga. So when I first came to yoga as a practice, I was doing it for exercise. I was interested in maximizing my fitness, and this was a different way to do it. So where I lived, it happened to be a yoga studio and walking distance from where I was living at, and they had like a new student special. So the style of yoga I first started practicing just as a student was hot yoga. And a lot of people hear about hot yoga, a lot of people seeing in pop culture and different things like that. And it's very similar to the type of energy that you might exert or experience in a traditional workout setting, like aerobics or anything in the gym, you know, or high intensity training. So a lot of people come to yoga because they want to be physically fit. It's a deeper practice than that though. So, and actually hot yoga is, in my opinion, I don't even practice it anymore. It actually can be fairly dangerous if you don't know what you're doing, because it's sort of fast paced, and if you're not being mindful of your movements and trying to keep up with the class and not really paying attention to your form, a person can really do damage to themselves. But it doesn't mean that it's a bad thing. It just means that you need to have proper training and a teachers whose judgment you trust to be around, so that you're not hurting yourself. But when you're in big groups and big classes, that every teacher is not able to accommodate everybody. So if you're taking a class with a lot of people and you're trying to just keep up with the class, you can kind of hurt yourself. So I'll just say that like a lot of people came through yoga, through hot yoga, and through the popularity of hot yoga as an exercise, as a way to get fit, as a way to, you know, lose pounds quickly because it's in a heated environment and blah, 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 all this other stuff. But yoga as a Sanskrit Indian term, it translates to union. And yoga is really about the union of breath and movement. It's really about the alignment of the energy in your body. And it's really about a balance of your emotional state. It really helps you from that aspect. And kind of like if you see people doing these hot yoga classes where they're trying to keep up and it's fast paced and it, you know, just trying to do the movements, that's not even really yoga anymore. Because if you're not synchronizing your movement with your breath and you holding your breath, trying to just keep up with the movements of that's not yoga anymore. But it's still exercise. It's just not yoga. So it's a lot of yoga styles like the one I teach that's more slow, more gentle, more what they call yin versus yang or yang, or yin is more the feminine principle, yang is more the masculine principle. Yin is more about surrender and receiving, yang is more about action and activation. And so I honestly believe people can get a lot more benefit from the styles of yoga that have less popularity and less knowledge, like the slower stuff, because they're already doing the fast stuff. If they jog, if they, you know, if they're in a gym, if they, you know, whatever they do, they're probably, if they're interested in fitness, they're doing something that's high intensity, but they're not doing anything to kind of balance out that other yin energy inside their body. So stuff like Tai Chi is also that yin energy. Cause you just, you know, I don't know how to do Tai Chi, but you see them, they move them real slow, deliberate, with balance and stuff like that. It's not about, it's about like centering, coming back to yourself, really increasing your awareness of being in your body, and um, less less awareness, or being able to focus in your attention more in yourself and tune out more of the static. That's what I feel like. Yoga, when practiced over time and the right way, but for whatever style that you like, it eventually helps you to cultivate those kinds of characteristics. And what you do on the mat translates to what you can do off the mat. A lot of times when I'm talking to people in my classes, so yin yoga is a style of yoga where most of the poses are either sitting down or laying down, and you hold them for 3 to 5 minutes on average. So this practice is about cultivating stillness and flexibility foremost. But while you're in this stillness, there's an aspect of challenge to the pose, and there's an aspect of relaxation to the pose. So the pose is only supposed to be slightly challenging, just to take you outside of your comfort zone, just so you're stretching your body a little bit outside of what you normally do. But it's not intended for you to be like in any kind of uncomfortable, excruciating pain. However, after 3 minutes or after a minute and a half, people sometimes have difficulty, if they don't have any experience with stillness, staying in a pose, and some stagnant energy or pain that might be in their body might come to the surface or move as you're in this pose, because it's activating energy lines in the body, which they call meridians, nadis. All, different traditions have terminology for energy lines in the body. So when you're holding these poses and certain energy lines in your body are being activated, they are associated with certain organ systems. Each organ system is associated with certain emotions. So while you're in a pose, if it's activating a certain meridian line, it can bring up, bring out, and release stagnant energy in the body. Sometimes in classes, you get people who are crying, and they don't necessarily even sometimes know why they're crying. But it's just like, it's stagnant energy that is being activated, is being released. And so in a certain way, it's trauma release. But when people are in those poses, a lot of times when I tell them, one of my favorite things, I'm always talking through my classes and giving people kind of like motivational speaking while they're in the poses. And I say, what your body can do and what your mind will tell you your body can do are two different things. So if you're in a pose and we get into the 2-minute mark and I want you to stay for 1 more minute, then I try and say something like that to help shift your thinking. Because a lot of times it is the ego, like, ain't no way I could stay in this pose, or they see me do it and they're like, my body can't do that. But then it's like, yes, your body can't actually do it, your own version of it. And also in my class, I use a lot of props, so which is tools that you can bring onto the mat to help the poses become accessible to you. So even just something as simple as having people lean forward maybe and try and put their forehead towards their, it's called like a butterfly position. I'm too high up for you to really see, but having people try and lean forward like this in a pose like this. Some people are really tight, so I'll be telling them to lean forward and they like, this all they could do. But for me, I can actually put my face on my feet. So they see me do it, and they're like, oh no, I can't do that.
Right, it looks intimidating.
But when I bring the props, I bring it so that it's a block up to here so that they can lay their forehead and they're still stretching their body outside of this comfort zone, and they can sit there for 3 minutes like that. So the main thing is, like, this practice is accessible to anybody. I had somebody come to my class who had a leg amputation up to the hip and had a prosthetic leg. And I still was able to help him. So it's definitely accessible. And with the props, you can almost bring when I say anybody into a pose or a form. So just go back to like what your original question was this a spiritual experience? Yeah, initially it was just about exercise, but the more I got into it, the more I learned about different styles, the more I got in tune with my own body. Certain messages came up for me to do other things. You don't always understand why you're doing it. Hindsight is 20/20 vision, but I think the more you get steeped in your spirituality, the more you get confident in your purpose and your passion, then you understand how the trajectory of your life, led you a certain place. So definitely, I feel like it's a spiritual thing. I feel, we're here. This is our avatar. We're here on assignment. We have been given certain talents that we are, whatever you believe about your own spiritual or religious understanding. I'm a student of universal law and a child of E5, but I refer to all different spiritual doctrine that I have found are universal laws. So you have to atone for your talents. If you came here with certain things to leave and to share, and you don't,
Gotta try again.
that's your business. That's your business. We see you next lifetime.